Good morning, everyone. I'm Jean with Stitches, and this is Stitch Talk with Captain Stitches. If it has to do with stitching, let's talk. So, do you notice my little special guest this morning? This is Stitches, the newest addition to the Stitching Cottage, and she is 12 weeks old today. She's already very active in the Stitching Cottage, meandering her way around, seeming to get past every block that I put up. She's charming her way into our hearts while finding ways to join in every opportunity that she has the pink squirrels and their mischief in the Stitching Cottage. But she is a really, don't you want to look into the camera? She is a very, very smart little girl. Already potty trained, already knows the sit command, already knows to come when she is called. She is amazing, smart, and going to be a great addition to our family and the Stitching Cottage. So, just because she isn't acclimated to the rules and where she can peacefully stay in the Stitching Cottage yet, we're going to pass her on to Daddy while we complete this live so that she doesn't get into any trouble. So, say goodbye, Stitches. We'll see you soon. Isn't she just the cutest thing? Let me say good morning to everyone. Good morning, Tracy. Good morning, Danielle. Good morning, Gladys and Debbie. Good morning to you. Good morning, my other Jean. Welcome, everyone. I hope you enjoyed getting to meet Stitches. Good morning, Christine, and good morning, June. Oh, I know you can't, but I will say the one thing she hasn't gotten quite over yet is she kind of likes to use you as a chew toy. So you got to watch out there. But we're breaking her of that habit too. So, yes, she is adorable. Adorable. And like I said, very, very smart. For 12 weeks old and just being, taken into a home, it is amazing on how quickly she learned where she is supposed to go potty in the yard, goes to the door already when she needs to go and lets us know, has not one time had an accident in the house. So amazing. But anyway, enough about Stitches for right now, except for the stitching that will go on in the cottage today. We will be working on the Jellied Charm Quilt in a little bit. But first of all, as you know, making sure. Good morning, Kathy. It's great to see you. And good morning, Lisa, with the Awkward Quilter. Thank you. And she says she is lurking. And Lori is here. Good morning. Tea time. Yes. I'll cheers to that. Okay. So first on the agenda for today in our Stitch Talk is to give just a little quick progress report in the 366 days of stitches. I am almost. I have yesterday's to stitch yet, but other than that, I am up to date on my stitches for the 366 days of stitches and wanted to let you see that. And I also wanted to let you know that in the Facebook group, Captain Stitches and Friends, which you will find a link for that if you would like to join that Facebook group. It will be in the description below after the live is over. Thank you, Tracy. Yes, I love doing embroidery, and doing those teeny tiny little ones is a bit of a challenge, but very, very fun to do. And just to start the morning off with a little bit of stitching, get the hands warmed up, and then go on to bigger projects throughout the day. Great way to start your day. Great way to learn a bunch of stitches if you are new to embroidery, and create a habit of stitching. But and what I wanted to also say, for those of you that may not have caught it in the community tab, I did put an announcement letting you know that I have decided that I will not be doing memberships for my channel. And the explanation for that can be found in that announcement. You can go there to read that. I won't go into that on our live today. But part of that is I have opened my private Facebook group, which is called Kept in Stitches and Friends, to everyone. So you can find that link, click on it, and request to join, which several of you already have, and I appreciate that very much. But why I brought that up is I wanted to let you know that along with my morning post in that Facebook group, I also am giving a prompt so that you may use that or not, but it just gives you a little idea on a thought to put into your head for choosing your stitch for that day. So you can find that there in the Facebook group every morning. And the next thing that we have then to work on and remind everyone of, and I know some of you are going to be stitching along in our quarterly quilting project for the first quarter of 2024, which the first quarter is January, February, and March. And we will be doing this Jellied Charm Quilt that I have designed and made the instructions for you. Shows the block and what you need to cut for the block. And then it also has all the piecing instructions and the fabric requirements and everything included. To get a copy of that, if you want to stitch along with us, all you have to do is send me an email requesting the Jellied Charm Quilt, or just say, the Quarterly Quilt Along, whichever you can remember, and I will send you the PDF for you to be able to download that pattern. And Lori says she is making a list for her next stitch project. Awesome. Very good. Thank you, Tracy. But for the month of January, we will do this part of it in each month of the quarter. For the month of January, of course, you need to collect and get your fabrics together, which the fabric requirements I said last week, but I will go over that again. You will need 1 jelly roll and 1 charm pack of the same fabric line. And then you will need a total of 1 yard for the inner borders. You will need a total of 1 1/4 yard for the outer border, and you will need 2/3 of a yard for binding. And then of course, you will need backing and batting, and those measurements are in there. But the first thing that you need to do after you get your fabrics for the month of January, and you see all of these strips behind me here on the long arm. My long arm comes in for a lot of uses besides just quilting a quilt on it. I use it all the time. But I have taken my charm square pack apart and my jelly roll pack, and what I did was I separated them all, and then I paired up what I thought looked good together, 1 charm square with 1 jelly roll strip. And you need to do that first before you do anything. Go ahead and pair them all up. You will need enough for 36 blocks. You may, if you have a Moda jelly roll, you will have a few left over. Riley Blake and that normally only have 36, and you will also find in Riley Blake jelly rolls and some of the others, a lot of times there are duplicates of the strips. So if that is going to concern you, you might want to look more towards a Moda jelly roll because they normally have the 42 or 44 and they are all different. They don't normally have more than one of the same in theirs. Just a little tip in case you weren't aware of that. Good morning, June, or you are saying good morning to why is it called jelly? Because it is made with a jelly roll, which is a 2.5 inch by the width of fabric strip of fabric, which usually includes one strip from each line in the fabric collection. The quilt is called Jellied Charm because it's a combination of the jelly roll strip and the charm square. So that's just the name that I came up for the pattern. And Christine says she will be back for the replay. Okay, Christine. Awesome. Tracy says, oh, my brain isn't awake yet. Jelly roll, of course. Yes, no problem. My brain is awake, but doesn't always work properly all the time. So, oh, you missed her, Danielle. She was on in the beginning. You'll have to go back and watch the replay of the beginning because I did introduce her. And she is now off to be with her daddy so that she doesn't meander into any mischief while we are doing the live. But, okay. All right. So after you have paired up all of your charm squares with a strip from your jelly roll, you are then going to do the subcutting. And you will be taking, you won't, of course, be doing anything with your charm square, but with your jelly roll, you are going to cut 2 strips that are 2.5 by 9, and you're going to cut 2 strips that are 2.5 by 5. And you're going to set the rest of that jelly roll strip aside because you will be using it later in the borders. So don't get rid of it. You will be needing that also. But you are going to do that with each charm and jelly roll strip that you have. And to keep mine all tidy, I've used a little clip, use whatever you want, pin, whatever. But I have them all cut and ready to sew. And like I said, and your instructions will tell you that you need to cut 2 that are 2.5 inches, which you're going to be using jelly roll strips, so they're all 2.5 inches already. You're going to cut 2 that are 2.5 by 9 and 2 that are 2.5 by 5 and leave your charm square just the way it is. So, like I said, for January, you want to do, of course, choose your fabrics, have those, pair them all up, do the subcutting. And let me check for sure. And yes, you are also going to stitch the blocks. I wanted to make sure. I thought so because that's what I was going to do today. So you will, and then that is all that you need to get completed for January. We're making this a quarterly one. Okay, no problem, Lisa. She says she can't lurk. Work is calling. No problem at all. But that's all that you need to do with January, making it easy and having the steps for you. Of course, if you want to work ahead, you're always welcome to do that. I think it would be more fun if we did it together, but it's your quilt. You do whatever you want. So now what I'm going to do is I am going to take my charm square and I'm going to take the 2 short pieces first, which are the 2.5 by 5, and I'm going to sew those one on each side of the charm square. And we will do that real quickly. I already have my sewing machine set up to my scant 1/4 inch. And I was going to show you how to cut those, but I think everybody knows how to cut, so I'm going to get that cutting mat out of my way. Okay. And we will stitch those very quickly. Who knows, as smart as Stitches is, we might train her to do some of this work. No, I'm sure we will find things for her to do and enjoy out in the stitching cottage, but I don't think we'll trust her with the sewing machine. She's already been trying to find her way underneath my desk and my chair while I'm working out here. And she likes to play tug of war, so she has found lots of things to get into to play that game of tug of war out here. Now I'm going to press these away from the center square. So you have one on each side looking like this right now. So then you're going to take your 2 strips that you cut at 2.5 by 9, and you're going to add that onto the top and the bottom of your block. Hello, Mama Hardin. Welcome. Great to see you. Thank you for joining us. So we have the one. We're going to sew the other side, and some of these are directional, so I'm just watching to make sure that I keep my directions going the same way. Of course, I think they're moths, not butterflies, and they could be flying different directions, but we'll try and keep everything looking as best we can on here. So let's stitch that up. And this quilt, the setting for it is 6 blocks across by 6 blocks down. So we have those sewn on, and we are going to press those also away from the center square. And my fabrics happen to be from the Daydreamer collection of Tula Pink. So there is how your block will look when you have that sewn together. And while we chat, I'm just going to sew a few more of them so you can get an idea of how fun and quick and easy this is. Again, we're going to take the 5-inch ones first and sew on both sides of our 5-inch square. Right sides together, of course. And one suggestion and tip that I have for you while you're doing this, if you do have more than 36 in your charm pack, in your jelly roll, go ahead and make a couple extra. Laying them out, which laying them out, you may find that, oh, you've got some don't like together, and when you start trying to change out, it's like, well, no, now those don't go together, those. So if you have the extra jelly roll strips and charm squares, go ahead and make a couple extra blocks to be able to play with while you're doing your layout. And as I showed last week, as a preview to this quilt, if you have a couple extra or whatever left over, one of those is really great to use as the label on the back of your quilt when you are done. And again, we're going to press them away from the middle square. These fabrics are going outside my box. I do not normally go with this bright and wild of fabrics and colors. I'm more of a traditional, more of a Civil War era, Americana, or more not so bright and wild fabrics. So this is going to be different for me. It should be fun and exciting though. I think the quilt will go very well with the colors of the cottage when I'm finished with it. Let me check real quick. Hello, Charlotte. Welcome. Welcome. Great to see you. Danielle says, kept in stitches, sewing with stitches. LOL. Yes. Oh. Except right now we have to keep her out of the way until she figures out where she can be and not be in the cottage instead of meandering all around and piecing herself into corners she doesn't belong in. She's been having lots of fun with those pink squirrels that come out here and get into mischief. She thinks, ooh, let's go find them and get into some mischief along with the pink squirrels and see what they're up to and doing. Let's distract Mommy from her work in the stitching cottage any way we can. Which that's okay. We needed her to bring light and comfort and joy and love of a fur baby into our home once again, because those of you that may not know, we did send Katie Sue over the Rainbow Bridge on Saturday morning. She was 16 years old, spent the majority of those 16 years with us, of course, except for when she was a little, firstborn little puppy. But so, yeah, that was very, very, very hard on us. And I have never been without a fur baby, except for the time that I was in the Air Force. So needed to fill the house back up with one very quickly. Danielle says her little boy Loki keeps wanting to help while I sew, so I completely understand. Yes. Oh, yes, she's got a bed already. She's got it out here. She's been sleeping in it. Started off with it just the bed, but because she is still in that chewing stage and finds everything and every cord, to try and chew on, I have had to just temporarily put up the wire cage and put her bed inside of there so that I can keep her safe while she is out here when I am doing other things. And she doesn't seem to mind. She quickly will just settle down, take a little nap. As long as she can see me, she's fine. If she can't see me, then she's not happy. But so, yes. So there we have another block done. I love this pink geometric pattern. And let's see. Oh, that's the same birds there. Let's sew something else a little more exciting than that. Let's see what one looks like with the darker inside and the lighter outside. Thank you, June. Yep, all our dogs have been spoiled rotten. Not rotten. They're not rotten, but they're very, very, very spoiled. Very, very well taken care of. I think we have decided that we are going to she will probably get more than one type of quilting, stitching attire, since she will be a definite part of the Stitching Cottage and all things stitching that Captain Stitches does. Whoa, okay, we just had something messed up here. Something caught on the underneath there. We're going to have to check that out, because something with the bobbin just messed up. Come out. Okay, it is actually stuck. I see. I have never ever had that happen. It is stuck on the little wheel that keeps it in place. Very interesting. Okay. The joys of live. That is something that has never, ever, ever, ever happened. But the little thing that comes over and catches the bobbin was stuck on the thread, which I think I'm actually going to have to, because now it's pulled out, I am going to have to change. And I always keep the next one to use up on top. I am actually going to have to change that bobbin out, because that is going to get caught on there again if I leave it the way that it is. Always something new to happen. But that is definitely a first. Maybe it's time to have the sewing machine serviced, like I said last week. Remember to stabilize that thumbs up button. Thank you, Tracy. Oh, let me see. Okay. And we are going to stitch this seam. Again, I'm just going to go over my previous stitching, but because it did mess up like that, but I had a little piece of fabric out here, but it's missing. So we will grab another one just to stitch on first to make sure that it is stitching correctly before I go on. And everything's good. So we're good to go. We will finish this one that I am stitching on. So little problems do always arise while we are stitching. Not a problem. It is just what happens in the world of quilters and stitchers. So we fix it and we go on. And we are going to press that again away from the middle square. The only thing that I don't like about stitching with fabrics with animals and stuff on it is this poor flamingo or whatever it is going to have their head cut off. Oh no. But as busy as all these fabrics are, unless you go right up and pick those out, I'm sure you're not even going to notice it. But so if you have decided to quilt along with this quarterly project, let me know in the comments. I know a few of you that have, but if you are on here and following along today, let us know that you've decided to go ahead and stitch this project. Quick and easy. And if you are someone that likes the pre-cuts, a great way to find to use them. And because this isn't the first time that I have demonstrated and shown this quilt, I have 2 already made. This will be the 3rd. So yes, Debbie is sewing along with this project. And she has some beautiful fabric chosen for hers. I forget the name of it, but it's beautiful. I love it. I would love to have those fabrics myself. But I have plenty already here in the cottage to use up. This is very interesting. Wait till you see this, because this strip of fabric is a gradient strip, which it changes color as you go through the fabric. So it actually ended up with this yellow tone in it on the sides and the purple and pinkish tones on the top and bottom. So that really turned out quite interesting. Adds some great interest to the quilt. But there we have 3 blocks sewn up very quickly already out of the 36 needed for this quilt. And I think I will just go ahead and continue to sew and piece a few more as we chat. I forget. I think I was also saying something else, but I lost my train of thought. So I'm sorry. That happens. Peachy Keen by Corey Yoder from Moda. Yes. Beautiful. Beautiful fabric line. And we have some fruits and veggie. Well, it might all be fruits, I guess, on this center square of this fabric. I know there have been a few of you that have contacted me through the email. And I will leave my email in the description box after the live video is over also, so it's easier for you to find. YouTube has made that a little more difficult to find in the About section of our channels. So I will leave that for any of you that are interested in receiving the PDF of the pattern. And I will also, for those of you that do join the Facebook group, I will add it to the files section in the Facebook group. You will be able to find it and download it there also. And now we're adding the longer pieces on. Very easy to do these blocks. You don't have to worry about matching any seams yet. When you sew the blocks together, you will, but not in the piecing of the blocks. So don't even need to do any pinning. And it's not included in the instructions, but this would also, if you have been quilting, piecing for a while, you will find this pattern very easily to be adapted to different sizes. If you want something smaller, if you want something larger. You may need an additional jelly roll and an additional charm pack, but and this pattern would also be great to use up some of your scraps. Some of my leftovers after making a quilt, I cut into 2.5-inch strips. So, and I also cut into 5-inch squares. So I would already have fabrics to be able to use out of my 2.5-inch strip stash and my 5-inch strip stash to cut up for these. And see, I was talking about those fruits in there. Trying to look for something different that we haven't used yet. But let's see. Yeah, no, they're pretty much kind of similar. So we will just go on with this next gradient one with a gradient middle of a different fabric, though. This one has elephants on it. But we are going to sew this other one that is a gradient, and we will see how it comes out. Very interesting. What is the pattern you are making? It is a pattern that I actually designed myself. It is called Jellied Charm Quilt, and it is for our quarterly. As part of the Stitch Talk, there will be a quarterly quilt along, for the most part, probably designed by myself. Unless I find a free pattern that I like and think might be of interest. But we'll find the front. I have it up on the sewing. But this is the pattern. This border right here is actually done differently. It was just easier to print that way than with the piano key border there. But that'll be a piano key border going around there. That's the only difference in the picture of it and the actual quilt, which is hanging behind me on the back wall there. But that is the quilt. Thank you very much for your question, Danielle. So I made up the name. called Jellied Charm Quilt. And we will be working on it January, February, and March. January is to choose your fabrics, pair them up, do the subcutting, and then piece your 36 blocks. In February, you will be laying out all your blocks in the order that you want, 6 across and 6 down. And actually piecing those rows together. And then in March, we will do all the borders and add them. And you will have a finished quilt that you can quilt as desired. And adding the second one of the one that is the 9-inch strip subcut. Okay. For some reason, the sewing machine wants to act up with the bobbin today. Making sure that we're still pieced correctly there. I mean, threaded correctly. Not pieced correctly. I'm doing the piecing, and I'm doing it correctly. Push the correct button. Okay, we didn't hold on to that too well. Let's try that again. There we go. All righty. I don't usually have this machine act up. So I think she may. It's not sounding right. I don't think it's stitching right. We'll go a little. Nope. So the first thing to do when it's not stitching right is to rethread it, and it is caught somewhere. I can feel it. It did not want to come undone. So we're going to rethread the machine and then try once more. When your sewing machine acts up, the first thing always to try is checking your bobbin and rethreading your machine, because it's usually going to be associated with something along those lines when you're having a problem. And we're going to grab this again and make sure it's stitching correctly. That sounds better. And we're good. Okay. Maybe Stitches was out here playing with it. Do you think that may have been the problem? Are the details for the sew along posted anywhere? Not actually, because it was being done only on my lives, but the details will be posted in the Facebook group. And the information, as I've said, for getting the PDF of the pattern will be in the description box of this live after the live is over. I don't put that information in beforehand because it's just safer not to, because that is something that does sometimes attract the scammers and the people trying to do things that they shouldn't. So I always add that to the live after it is over, but that will be included there, Tracy. Thank you for asking. But if you want to, somebody joined us, Denise. So Patch 33, welcome. Thank you for joining us. Yeah. So one of the best ways to keep up with anything that I do on my lives is my Facebook group goes hand in hand with my lives. So if you're not a member of that Facebook group, it is a good idea that you go ahead and request to join, because all the information and everything will always be included in my private. It is a private Facebook group, and it is Captain Stitches and Friends. So you will always find everything there. But yes, this did turn out as an interesting block also because of the gradient in that fabric. So I think that is enough of the blocks that I have sewn today to show you how that will come together and how super easy it is. Anyone from beginner to advanced would have fun with this quilt. Some fun also in the borders of that, which I will touch on how that well, no, I'm not going to, because that doesn't come until March. So we're not going to delve into the borders on there yet, since we're not close to being to that part of the quilt. But I did want to go over with you some of the things that are upcoming again, and I am going to grab my notes for that just so that I do not miss any of them. Have it down here. But I have drafted the design for the quilt for our Baking Up a Quilt segment with Jean and Nancy that will be going on throughout the year. There will be once a month that Nancy from Our Treasured Home will be joining for a segment we are calling Baking Up a Quilt. And Nancy does a lot of cooking and baking on her channel. So we have come together and we have come up with a theme for each month, something that kind of pertains to the month that we're in. And so she will be baking something with that theme, and I will be creating a quilt block with that same theme. And at the end of the year, you will have another pattern designed by myself that will be a quilt and containing 12 blocks. And I will say, the way that I designed this, it does have a middle section and then the 12 blocks going around it. So it is going to be really cute and exciting. And those segments, which will be part of the Stitch Talk, will always be the last Monday of the month. So the first segment will be on Monday, the 29th of January. So look forward to that. I think that's going to be a great fun time. And when I do have a guest on with me, I will be doing that streaming it through Zoom live to YouTube. Just so you know, when you see the little Zoom underneath there, it's still YouTube live streaming. And I am also have started contacting other content creators and am coming up with some ideas with some other collaborations that we will also be doing throughout the year, so that you can meet other people. We can have fun stitching along on different things, finding out more about some of the people that we know or don't know, meeting new ones. And every once in a while, I may have one of you, my subscribers, up so that we can meet some of you, those of you that are willing. I know some don't like to be live on YouTube or anything, but I'm sure there are a few of you that would be willing for us to interview and get to meet you in person. And I also wanted to share with you that as a part of my Facebook group, there is a weekly Zoom Stitch Day included in that for anyone that is a member of the Facebook group to participate in. What I mean by Zoom Stitch Day is it takes place on Zoom. It is not recorded. It is not live. You can come and go throughout that time, that day. The hours are from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. with a break. And then for those that may work and can't join during that period of time, I am also including an evening session of 7 o'clock until 9 o'clock. And sometimes we may go over, on those times or whatever, but those are the times that it's set up for. It will be every Thursday that I will offer that weekly Zoom Stitch Day. And you can work on whatever you want during that time. Just have a great time getting some stitching done, maybe working on one of those bi-monthly whip challenges that we had you make that list of, and you want to check off your list and get done. A great way to spend a day stitching with others, not by yourself, and being able to have a great time, just like a good old-fashioned stitching bee, but virtually. And I look forward to seeing a lot of you on that. And the information for that will always be included in the Facebook group as well. And for those of you that don't quilt, don't worry, I haven't left you out. I will be designing, I'm in the process of designing another multi-stitch sampler Afghan for those of you that crochet. You see that yarn right up there? That's the colors that I will be using. Hard to get that finger going in the right direction when it's reversed for me, but I will be doing that for those of you that crochet. And I am also going to come up with a fun little cross stitch pattern project of some kind for those of you that are into cross stitch. So you also can be included in some of the stitching projects that we do as a stitch along. So those are some of the things that I have planned and that will be coming up in the near future. Of course, there are always things that are going to be thrown in on the fly. And of course, Stitches will be joining us from time to time, so you can look forward to that. Who knows? She may end up with her own channel at some point in time. I don't think so, but no, just saying, you never know how popular she may become. You are welcome, Danielle. Yes, I know that we include things and we call it a stitch day, and there are a lot of people that work and just can't make it. And I know it's also a long period of time, but don't feel like you have to be there the whole entire time either. You don't have to sign out or anything. You can remain on if you need to leave to take a break or something, have lunch, whatever, have something that you need to do just for a few minutes. You are more than welcome to just, mute yourself. If you want to, turn off the camera view so we're not looking at, an empty room or something that may come across unexpectedly as you are gone. But you're welcome to come and go during that time as you please. And those of you that are there during the day are more than welcome to come to the evening session as well. But that will be weekly. So great time, like I said, to really be able to get some stitching things done. And if during that time, if there are any questions that you have on any of the projects that we are having as a stitch along, I will be available to answer all those questions and help you with anything. And once in a while, there may be a special project thrown in for us to do on one of those stitch days or a few of them in a row. So I hope that will interest many of you and inspire you in some way. Good morning, So Terry. You popped on right at the end there, but that's all right. I always look at my clock and see it as the wrong time, but it is correct this morning. So no matter how I plan for this to last just a little bit longer, it's okay. It always seems to end sooner than what I expected to, which is all right. We don't have to stay on a schedule here during this time. It is just a time that I have scheduled to be able to talk about everything stitching with you, show you a little something, a project, and share the stitch alongs that we are working on. You will restart it. Okay, Terry. Thank you for popping on. It's great to see you. But yeah, you will definitely want to see the beginning of this live because we have a special little guest that is introduced in the beginning of it and some of the other details that are included there. So that is everything that I have for you today. I hope that you loved meeting Stitches and look forward to having her participate a lot more in the Stitching Cottage. So everyone, have a great day. This is Monday, the beginning of the week. So lots of happy stitching to you throughout the week. May your week be a beautiful and productive one. And I will see you back here on Friday. Remember, in the meantime, I can keep you in stitches. Bye-bye, everyone. Take care.